welcome to another episode of Anékdota. I am Ángeles and this is Aída.
Hello.
And today, Aída, can you share with us what are we going to be talking about?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ángeles. Sure. Well, today would like to kind of break down a phrase, an ancient phrase that we've come across quite a few times recently. And it's an Egyptian and Hermetic phrase or wisdom. And it's often attributed to God, which is know yourself and you will know the gods. So, I don't know, where do you want to begin, Angeles? This is kind of a pretty deep phrase, I think, and it has a lot of weight.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. It is a very deep saying and a very deep phrase to uncover. And I think it is a great phrase to start understanding what our ancient civilizations were trying to tell us and how we interpret this sayings nowadays and how we can adapt them to our everyday life nowadays, right?
Exactly. What comes to mind when you hear this phrase? Know yourself and you will know the gods.
That everything is within me.
Okay.
What about for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of shocking at first because it's like, okay, if I know myself enough, then I will know the gods. Like, what are you trying to say? And then I'm like, okay, so then kind of like the light bulb goes on, ding. So then the gods are within me. I mean, that's the way when the first time that I came across it, I was like, that was my first impression.
Right.
And then as I started studying and, doing all this magical journey that we've been on, it's like, yeah, I agree with it more and more and more each day.
Yeah, and a lot of ancient civilizations do tell us, right, that God is within us. And I think the confusion there is understanding where is God within us, because for so many of us, we grew up understanding that God was something outside of us, like a guy on the sky, kind of listening to us, watching. And then we just kind of realized along the way, the more that we started digging in, that it's not as they made us think. It is actually within us. God is within us, and I think it's understanding where and how we can understand where in us is God and how we can get to God within us.
And this raises up another question, like, who is God and what is God or gods?
For me, now it's our conscious.
Okay.
Now for me, I have interpreted that God is in my unconscious, in every thought. For me. Okay. What about for you?
For me, to me, God is that collective fullness of everything. Yeah, it's that supreme consciousness of everything that I'm a part of, that I'm also that little drop from that same consciousness. So when I go back to this phrase, I know myself and I will know the gods, I would recognize that little drop that I'm part of, that huge consciousness that to me is God.
Wow. That's a very interesting way to look at.
I'm like, I mean, that's how I see God. Same thing, not as a person or as something external, but something that I'm a part of.
Right. Yes, because we are a collective conscious. I think that's how I interpret what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a collective consciousness of everything, of nature, of including the universe, the cosmos, of my own consciousness too, and that we're all a part of. We're just living different experiences through these physical bodies, and but truly knowing our essence, by truly knowing our essence, it's like we're actually knowing God. He would like to see it as a whole. I don't know
Right.
for myself too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's interesting, because knowing ourselves, sometimes I question myself, do we really know ourselves?
Or how much do we truly know ourselves?
Exactly. Because we're in constant change, correct? So at some point I feel like I knew myself, and then later it was like, wait, I'm a completely different person now than 6 years ago, 5 years ago, even yesterday, from one day to another, things can change. So how do we know if we're knowing ourselves truly?
I think from staying aware of all those changes, of everything that's going on within us. And by detecting those changes is because we actually know who I am. Like, I would actually know who I am right now. And then, like, tomorrow, something happens, then I know something switched because I already knew that Aída from yesterday. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's awareness of who we truly are, going back to that authenticity thing that we were talking about during our last episode, to recognize ourselves by staying aware of who we truly are.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think for me has been that journey, understanding myself. Um what am I changing daily? Am I changing my perspective about something in my everyday life? What choices am I making today that before would be like even unimaginable, right? Or unthinkable, like before.
Even switching our points of view,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
our opinions and things like that. Yeah. Based on like the experiences that we're going through, of what we're reading, what we're, learning on our everyday lives. We keep changing, and we keep feeding that inner God, so that the complete God also gets a little. Well, you know what? I was just thinking, like, okay, so are we feeding it, or are we actually gathering information from it? You see what I mean?
I think both, right? I think we're feeding it and we're gathering information.
Or we're remembering. Because if we're gods, like if we, if God is within, we're actually remembering all that knowledge that we already came with, but decided to forget when we incarnated, like we talked about on another episode. That we decided to forget and just to have a full-on human experience. So maybe it's that remembrance, just recalling all the information that we already know, and it's within, by tapping into our inner goddess, god or goddess.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, one of the things that have changed my perspective, my life, and everything is like meditating and understanding who am I? What is it within me that is making those choices? Is my voice, is it my voice, or is it someone else's voice talking or speaking through mine? Right? Because sometimes we think we know ourselves, but a lot of us are just being a reflection of our parents, of our society, of our teachers, right? Or someone we look up to. So understanding, I mean, when I read this phrase, it's like, know yourself and you will know the gods. It's like understanding, who am I? Why am I thinking like this? Why am I saying what I'm saying? Is it truly me, or is it someone speaking through my voice? And what do I truly think or know?
Okay. Yeah, and I also believe that it's an ongoing process.
Right, it's a lot of
It's
questioning.
I think it's a never-ending process too. Ongoing and never-ending.
Exactly.
Because I mean, when like I've asked myself, like, when would I fully know or understand myself? I don't think I don't think I'll ever get there. Because I'm constant same thing, because I'm constantly changing,
Mhm.
you know, and I might understand how I act or I react to something, or why I think the way I think right now. But I don't know about tomorrow.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a lot of questioning and a lot of going in a lot of introspection, right, with yourself and understanding the root of where did it all started? Why did I started having either that internal dialogue, that belief, that that understanding that I think is right, but is it really right? According to who? To me or to my parents? And that wasn't heard to me, you know?
We were
So
talking about before we started recording again, you know, it's like we were raised, and we both agreed that we were both raised like that, where it wasn't acceptable not to be doing anything, just to relax, just to chill. And I was telling you, like, sometimes I feel guilty. Like, if I'm not doing this, like, I need to be doing something. Doing. It's like, come on, Aida, be productive. Da, 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 da. But whose voice is it really?
right.
You know? And by truly knowing myself, I know that belief came specifically from the people that raised me, you know, my grandparents, my mom. And then it's like, okay, well, does it make sense? Is it working out for you, Aida? No. Okay, well, maybe there's something there that needs to switch, that needs to be changed. You know, what does Aida truly want to do? I mean, does she need to rest? Does she want to rest? Is she, you know, then go for it.
Right. Yeah.
Give yourself a day off and just chill and enjoy, and truly fully enjoy not doing anything, you know, just being with myself.
And you just remind me, sometimes it takes a while for us to identify that and where it's coming from. And is it truly us or someone else?
Yeah, because we're so caught up in that loop,
Cycle.
because we're so used to that. That's the way we were raised. Remember that everything we know, like within 0 to 7 years old, you know, it's already in there.
Right.
And we took it as, it has to be like that. You know, that's how we were raised, and that's how we will continue to act throughout our life, unless we become aware of something that it doesn't truly resonate with us, so we can change it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's identifying those things, right? Or those perceptions or those internal dialogues, identifying where they come from. And it has been quite a journey for me on identifying those internal dialogues and who's speaking through that voice, and knowing myself, really knowing myself, and really understanding what it is okay and not okay for Angeles, what is acceptable and not acceptable, and for me, and what do I want? What do I want in life? Do I want what my parents or my siblings call successful, or what success looks like to me, right?
Exactly.
So it's redefining and understanding all of these internal dialogues, all of these perceptions and behaviors that we're so accustomed that sometimes even seem like whatever, like it's so ingrained into us that
like we were just talking about before recording too, that we're so used to doing things like the same way. There comes a time where it's like, okay, well, maybe things need to be done a little different right now because of the circumstances right now. Then would it truly work? Am I still, just putting pressure on me, like stressing myself out because I need to do it like a certain, in a certain way? Or what would happen if I try it a different way? That's also, I mean, that gave me a lot of insights about my own behavior. And I learned something new about me just by paying attention to that tiny little detail, where I was just like in the middle of a situation where I had to make a decision. And, I'm like, okay, well, what if you do it do it differently? What would the outcome be?
And I realize how much we are so much alike.
I know.
It's so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I am like that too. Like I want this very structured, very this way. And it's like, it's not always like that. Again, everyone, I'm without internet because I don't know what's going on in my neighborhood. And I just feel like I'm out of place, right? Because I need to be going around with my computer to places and just connecting from somewhere else. And it's just like, and you mentioned something to me last night, very true. You were like, what if the universe is trying to tell you to just stop, just slow down? And I was like, that is so true. That is so true.
Because it has been a recurring event.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's definitely trying to tell you something. So like, okay, well, maybe, just chill. It's okay to just take it easy and maybe not do anything that has to do with the internet, just do other things, maybe focus on yourself. Maybe there's something that you might have been putting off, an issue that you needed to do a little introspection on. And this was the time to do it. And you just like, do. No. The internet focusing on other stuff that I'm not saying it's not important, but perhaps this other thing was also just as important as that.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. And thank you for bringing that to my attention, because I feel like sometimes we do need those reminders from our friends, from our loved ones, from others, who are able to see much more than what we can possibly see, because we're so caught up in that little space, that we have in our mind. Like this is how it's supposed to be. Why is it not working out?
Oh, and you mentioned something interesting that, yeah, sometimes we do need like a third person, just to kind of like bring this to our attention and stuff. But I also like to invite you guys to be that observer. I've done that, and it works. Where I'm like observing myself. It's like, okay, Aida, what are you saying? Why are you behaving like that? Why are you acting like that? And kind of look at myself, like from a third person, view, and just say, oh, okay, what would you tell that Aida that's so like, this thing is not working and I got all these things to do and freaking out? What would you tell her? It's like, okay, chill. First of all, chill. It's not the end of the world, and so I think that's a good exercise. At least it has worked for me.
Yes.
Take
Yes.
step back and look at myself in the third person and say, okay, what would you tell her?
Yes. Yes, last night when you told me, and I told you this earlier too, last night when you told me, today I decided to take, 40 minutes to just be in complete silence and just listen to nature and just kind of go within and kind of understand what they were trying to tell, what the universe was trying to tell me. And it was a beautiful experience, like I think when you meditate, and then when you decide to have these moments of silence to just go within. I'm not saying meditation is just being in silence and just being present in the present moment. time goes by so fast, you know, next thing you know, because I put an alarm, I was like, next
Oh
thing you
my
know,
God.
like 20
You were
minutes already.
timing yourself like
Yes. Yes.
I did
I
time
did
for
not want
myself,
to
but I'm
grab
gonna
my,
time it just to make sure
yes.
I don't spend more time that I need to with
No,
myself.
it was actually to make sure that I didn't grab my phone before the 40
Okay,
minutes.
okay.
That was for, it was for that. But it was great, you know, because it was like so quick. And I was like, wow. I was like, it doesn't even take that long for me to just sit in the quiet and just be with it with myself within and listen to myself, you know, like time went so fast. So like I have a lot to talk with myself, right? A lot to kind of go in there and dig a little bit more. And sometimes I wonder what would happen to me if I wouldn't be able to write all of these things that are on my mind, because it's like there's so much going on within me all the time that I'm like, no wonder why I'm such a creative person. Like, why do I have to write all the time? Because um, there's a lot of information that the universe is giving me for me. Like, hey, pay attention here. So it was a really good time to spend alone and to go within and listen and confirm that, you know, that I need to just trust the process in that everything is fine. That
And you learn something new too. That it's okay, just to take at least 40 minutes and just chill, be on your own, and that not having to be productive
right.
per se, you know, is always the right thing to do. It's also like, okay, I'm taking this 40 minutes, I'm being productive with myself. I'm getting to know myself. What am I going through right now?
Mhm.
And connect to that inner goddess, and get that wisdom from within, which you actually got.
Yeah, and I think we're so accustomed to be going on the go, 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 you know, that having this productive moments for ourselves, they seem like we're wasting time, when in reality, we're not wasting time.
No.
We're going within and we're finding those answers that sometimes, because we're so caught up on the go, 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 we don't even see or we don't hear, you know? So it was a reminder to just slow down, to that it's okay to take 40 minutes in the middle of the day
Of quality time
of
with yourself.
quality time, yes, to reflect, to do a little bit of introspection. And I usually do this in the mornings, you know, not on the middle of my day, but because of the current situation, I'm like, okay, like you just told me last night, maybe start to tell you something, figure it out. And I was like, oh, that's a great question, like let me figure it out.
Yeah. And so it happened to me this week. It was crazy at work and all that. So I mean, I was super tired. And normally on my way home during my bus ride, I'm like replying to messages that I haven't gotten to reply throughout the day, just personal stuff. And I'm like, so I mean, my ride home is like, it goes by super fast because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't go through all my messages. Oh shit. And I get home and then I continue to reply to everyone because, I always reply or make a comment or, always. And so I think it was Wednesday or Friday that I was just fried. I was just like done. And I pulled up my cell phone. I mean, the minute I sat on the bus and I pulled up my cell phone and I'm like, same thing. Actually, you know what? It was the same thing. There was bad reception. Something. Wi-Fi on the bus wasn't working, whatever. I mean, and then like the cell phone, the whatever G, whatever thing wasn't working right. And I'm like, just gonna put it away. I'm like, it's a sign. I'm gonna put it away and just enjoy my ride home. Sure enough, I did. I mean, seriously, it's a 10-minute ride. I mean, super quick. But I discovered a new hardware store. I'm like, oh my gosh, when will this open? You know, because I'm always like on the go. And there was a new hardware store. They opened up a new restaurant. You know, there were actually kids out on the street. Like in my neighborhood, there's more pets than actual kids. And yeah, no, seriously. And so I noticed a lot more kids. I'm like, "Ooh, this is interesting. Is something changing?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna have to read it on this, you know, because yeah, there's normally more dogs, you know, people walking their dogs than out with kids." And so I thought that was interesting. So, you know, it's showing me all other things. I mean, other things that I've been missing out on. But I'm like, okay, so everything happened for a reason. I mean, I just
Right.
needed this time to just like connect with myself, just to chill and appreciate my beautiful neighborhood that I love and my ride home. And so I ended up, I finished my day on a very good note.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And then the next day I started replying to everyone, sorry, you know, I could have, but you know, at least I took time
Yeah,
to.
yeah. It's important to sometimes, um, but not sometimes, to disconnect, to give yourself like an hour a day, 2 hours, to just completely disconnect, and just going in introspection. As I said, I usually do it in the morning, but I've realized that how important it is to do it throughout the day as well, not just in the morning.
Needed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if we think about it, all ancient civilizations talked about this, right? Of just staying in the quiet, just be within, meditate. And it's weird to me how nowadays we have completely disregard that, right? In our new civilization, it's like we don't give ourselves that time to go within.
And I mean, we've had the answers. You know, we have those teachings, we have those all those sayings, that words, those words of wisdom. There.
Mhm.
But how much attention are we truly putting on them, and are we really taking them to heart
Mhm, mhm.
to go beyond just the words, written words, to actually give it an interpretation and start applying it and give it a shot, you know?
Right, right. Yeah. And I discovered this through etymology, the importance of seeing more than what we can see, just
Surface.
on the surface, right? So go deeper within. And that is something that etymology teaches us, right? To understand and go dig more, because the answer is there. You just have to go and dig more. And for this phrase, know yourself and you will know the gods. I would like us to start with the word know. What is know to you?
I was just gonna say that I think the key here is the key word here is no. You pulled up, you did the homework, so I'll give you I'll give you credit for that. So you go ahead and share it.
No, I mean, I think we have both been doing a lot of homework, for you for 3 years, me for a whole year now. But no, it comes from the Latin cognoscere, which is to become aware. So become aware. And what do we want to become aware?
If we take it, if we go back to the phrase, it's like know yourself and you will know the gods. So if we switch the word know to become aware, you become aware of yourself and you will become aware of the gods within. So, you know, it's that invitation, become aware. It's that awareness that I was talking about, you know, of appreciating ourselves, of fully recognizing that essence in us.
I love it. I love how you just interpret that. And yourself in Egyptian spiritual terms refers to Ka, which is actually it's Ka, spiritual double, and Ba, soul and personality. So it's spiritual double in soul personality. That's yourself. So become aware of your soul. That's how I would interpret that.
And that spiritual double, that duality that also resides within us, you know?
Right. That is a great point. Yes. Yes, of the light and the dark side as well.
Yeah, we all have it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, and it is important, I feel, to recognize, because sometimes in the spirituality, or when we talk about spirituality, sometimes we just so concentrate our energy into the light, then we forget that there's also this dark side, and that they have to enter into a balance, right? There has to be a balance.
They coexist, like one can't exist without the other.
Correct.
Period.
Correct. We live in a dual world. So it is understanding and finding the balance within those two. So it is very, very nice the way you just interpret that. And then the gods, the Egyptians, they represented universal forces or archetypes, not external deities, which, it's a reminder that everything is within us. It is not something external. God is not something external. It's something that lives within each and one of us.
Right, because we're part of the universe.
So it's just awakening that that wisdom, that divine being that we are. It's understanding.
Truly believing that we are, I think, that we are part of that divinity, that universal force. I think too.
That is true, because sometimes, at least for me, has been hard to accept that true essence of who am I, and the divinity within me.
But you know what? It's funny because I think we do know, like, it's deep inside within us. We know, like I said, we have this wisdom, this knowledge. And the reason I bring this up is because, I have a workshop, right, on sigils. And I had a session this Friday on that, and we were doing an exercise where the Socratic method, where, you close your eyes, and then I tell you a word, and you just say the first word that comes to mind, just without thinking, just boom, boom, boom. So I tell you a word, just you reply with another, and then I question you.
Yeah, I love that exercise.
So what this other word means to you, and just bring up another and another and another. So it's like, peeling the layers on the onion. So we're doing this, and this girl said one of the participants' words was self. So, we were like a few words within the main word. I forgot which was the main word. But she's like, self. I'm like, and what is self? And she's like, divinity. Oh no, she said myself. And I'm like, and what's myself? What does myself mean? And she's like, divinity. And she like jumped, like, oh, like, where did that come from? I'm like, okay, she knew she's part of the divine. Right. And she's like, why did I say that? I'm like, because deep inside, you're part of that. I mean, you are divine, part of that divinity, of that universal force, and all that power is within you. It's that God is in you. And she was just like super shocked. But it was funny how, she said, like, divinity. And she's like, Whoa, where did that come from?
You don't want to recognize it, right? Like,
Yeah, just in a regular conversation, she would have never come up with that word. Yeah, myself, I'm divine, or I'm part of the divine or whatever. She would have never said that. But it was her unconscious, calling it out. And I'm like, see, so you already know that. It's within you. Now you got to bring it up to the surface, to the
right.
conscious, and start truly believing and embracing that divinity within.
Right. And I
So,
love how you do it. Yeah, that's a great exercise that you have on your course. If you guys haven't taken that course, you guys must take it. It's really good. Actually, can you tell everyone about your course? Because it is a great course. It really helped me understand um how sometimes things are there in the collective and we just don't even think about it. And then it takes us, I feel like that course took me to another level of understanding and going more within and questioning. Like, is it really, for example, to me, it was just amazing how you just give us the example of the cross. When you gave us the example of the cross, and we're like, we automatically think it's a church, right? And we don't even question it. We just accept it as it is automatically a church. And there's so many things like that. You give out so many examples. I'm just giving that one out, but you gave out so many examples of what we just accept without questioning.
yeah, of symbology.
Of the symbology, right? And how we can make our own symbol to bring us back to our true essence.
To connect with our true essence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the workshop is on sigils and on the concept of sigils, basically, which are symbols, with an intention that, and once a symbol is activated with a certain intention, then it has a lot of power. And we see this symbology like throughout human history, human civilization, like, the Egyptians with the Horus,
Right.
the what's the other one? Well, I mean, there's the
There's so many. Yeah.
and it's so many, and even within like religions, and even with day-to-day logos, like icons and things like that. But the workshop itself is focused on us revealing our own symbology, what certain things mean to us, not what we've been told, that that's what they mean or what they represent, but what does it mean to us? What is it telling us? So we unveil like a whole bunch of things, and then the participants go home with a symbol that they've created based on a specific intention. Well, we start off with a purpose and we'll finish with an intention that sometimes, if you look at them, just by first glance, one has nothing to do with the other, but it's fully related. We focus on the desire rather than on what we desire rather than what we want.
Right.
Because focusing on our desire will automatically get what we want, which are two different things. So yeah, it's a very it's fun. I mean, I love it. I love teaching it and sharing with people, and just, I mean, they uncover a lot of things. Well, you've already lived it, but yeah, this Friday's session was awesome. The way she's like, she's like, myself, and what is myself? She's like, divinity. She's like, huh? She's like, did I just say that?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So I feel like, yeah, deep inside, we all know we are part of that divinity, of that concept of God that each of us has.
Yeah, definitely. I think when we give ourselves that time to go within, we start unveiling a lot of truths and a lot of things that are just there, but we have been unaware of because we're so caught up on the everyday life.
Exactly.
It's important to give ourselves that time to do a lot of introspection and analyze, where am I and what am I doing in my everyday life to get to where I desire to get? What steps am I taking today that are getting me closer to that result that I want to see in life? But also more than a material result, I would say more of an internal result for, or at least for me, it has been more, yeah, I do want to live a good life, and because we do live in a material world, of course, but as I was mentioning earlier, like for me, it's like, I just want to be at peace, happy, and feel in harmony, fulfilled. And what is that to me? And to understand what that is to me, I really have to sit with myself,
Exactly.
go within, and understand how does it look like.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly. Because we can always go by someone else's definition of peace, of, but it's like, what does peace truly mean to me?
exactly.
What does it represent?
Yes, because not for everyone is the same thing.
Exactly. And another thing that I've discovered, like, sharing this workshop is that not everyone's willing to go within. Because it can be uncomfortable, like we've mentioned, in several episodes. It can be uncomfortable, and you start moving a lot of pieces that might be painful, and remembering things that were not quite comfortable, pleasant. But it's by moving those key pieces that we truly learn more about ourselves and why we act the way we act, why we react the way we react to certain things. And it's actually taken us, or at least it has taken me to a better, not understanding, understanding, but also to be more empathetic with myself, not to be so harsh on myself too. So yeah, it's interesting.
And it's a non-stop, it's an ongoing process. Once you start, I don't think I can ever go back to that, Angeles, prior to.
To just like, okay, so this person, I can't anymore. Because, like if I see something like the internet thing that I was telling you guys about, like right now on the bus, I'm like, okay, this is a sign. Instead of me just keep pushing buttons and okay, restarting my phone and that, it's like, okay, it's a sign. Just take a moment, just unplug and enjoy the ride.
Wow.
So I don't think I could go back to not reading those signs, those invitations. I see them as invitations from the universe, from myself, from whatever you want to see them. They come from. To look within and to see more of what is there.
Right. Definitely. So what would you like to tell people? What would you like them to take from this episode, or what would be the invitation of this episode?
I think I always have the same invitation, I think.
But I love it. I love it.
To keep going within. It's that within thing that is truly going to unveil a lot of things, that divinity within. I mean, we're truly divine. We're part of the divine. And once we give ourselves the chance to appreciate it, then we'll truly start believing in it.
Right.
And once we start believing it, then we start playing the role, like actually, okay, I am part of that divinity, and it has given me at least a lot of self-responsibility, as far as not blaming, this is the life, that was, that I have to live, and this is the circumstances that I'm presenting. It's like, no, 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 no. Just assume your responsibility and then just start acting accordingly.
Right, because we tend to put that outside, right? To give it to others, that responsibility, when in reality it's our responsibility to create our reality. and to understand from where am I creating?
Mm-hmm.
What, like, from where am I creating? Why am I seeing this? Do I like it? And if not, what can I do to change it?
Exactly.
Can I look within to change this?
Mm-hmm. And I think that just taking time to fully know ourselves and take that responsibility and also start acting upon, creating that change.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, how about you? Do you have an invite?
I think the invitation is to question more and become aware of what is that internal dialogue, what are those actions, what are those decisions that I'm taking that are manifesting this life, right? And do I like it? And if I do, great, I keep going in that same direction. But if I don't, what are those changes that I can start making in my daily life? Like, I don't know, sometimes it's so simple, like waking up early or meditating, and you don't have to meditate for a whole hour. You can meditate for 10 minutes or giving myself 15 minutes in the middle of the day to just go within. The other day, it's so funny because the other day my daughter was like, Mom, why do you get ready every single day, even if you don't go out? And I was like, because it's a way of me telling the universe that I'm ready to receive. By me getting ready every single day, it's just an action that I give to myself and the universe as a reminder I'm ready to receive all of the magical things that this day has for me. And I'm like, all dressed up
and ready to.
Yes, and also
Awesome.
to remind myself that I deserve to look great for me. It's not for anybody else, it's for me,
It's for yourself, exactly.
right? Like my self-love, it's a way of loving myself. So just those little things, that we can start just analyzing and become aware and say, what can I do? How can I tell the universe that I'm ready for all the magical things that this day has for me? It's like, oh, by loving myself, by getting ready and be prepared, be ready to receive. Okay, then go ahead, but it's going within and finding those little aspects of you that you can change in your everyday life to communicate with the universe.
That was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you so much, Aida. I really
Oh, thank
enjoyed
you.
this time with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. Me too. And I think this was a good episode because I think we opened up the door for a lot of people to start seeing that, not just that magic within, but that divinity within. And by doing so, we'll start unlocking all that magic that we truly are. So, good
Amazing.
job. So good job, you guys.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our viewers for your love,
Thanks.
for your beautiful comments, and for sticking to listening to us every week. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And you will see us. We'll read you guys next week. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye. Thanks.